Good morning, welcome to Furry and Spoilt. Today I'm going to show you how I do agility for older dogs. So I've got dogs from 6 years up to 10 years, and so that is quite old for some of them to be doing agility. So Harry here, he's my 6-year-old. I do agility with him. He'll quite happily run an agility course. There's no mobility issues. But Albert here is 10, and so he's too old now to do agility. And Hump's over here. We don't really know how old he is, but he did have loads of mobility issues when we got him. He's only been with us for a year, and they've massively sorted out those issues and everything's so much better. But there is no way on this earth I would let him do agility. However, I do come up to the agility ground a lot, and I don't want my older dogs to feel like they're left out and they can't be part of it. And so I shall show you how I do agility with them. Also, agility is very good for stimulation. Makes them feel great for their confidence, and it's really good for exercise, even if they're old and I'm doing it the way that I'm doing it. So let me show you how I do it. So here, this is like I'm at the training ground. It's a standard agility course. So this normally would be, I'm also going to show you later on how you can set something up in your garden that's very similar and isn't going to cost you any money. So these, when you go to an agility course, here are the jumps, and so you would normally have the poles going over these jumps at different heights and the dogs would jump. I do not want that for my older dogs, so what I do is when we've come here I will run Harry around the agility course and we'll do the jumps. But then what I do is I take all the poles off. They come off really easy. Take the poles off and I lay them on the floor, and then I just, if you've had a dog that is doing well, if you've had a dog that does agility, you could run down the side and just give the command over, and they'll just walk over the poles. But if this is something that you're doing new, either to a puppy, a dog with mobility issues, or an older dog, I would actually walk over the poles. So I would just walk over the poles nice and slowly with a treat in my hand and get my dog to follow me. And then you could just turn around and you could just go back. You could recreate this so easily in your garden with broomsticks or branches, as long as the branches are flat. You don't want ones that are high. You don't want any jumping. You just want your dogs to be walking, and even though that doesn't seem like much or anything really, it is, because they've got to step over something, they've got to stay in the line, and it is still mental stimulation for them, and they get rewarded for it, and it's really great. Oh, this is Harry in the background. Agility is when you've got dogs that are young enough and fit enough to do a course properly. It's a very excited thing because you run around fast and the dogs are all excited, and it's very exciting for them. But with older dogs, I like to keep it nice and calm. The rule I always stick to is everything still has to be on the floor. I don't let them do anything that takes them off the floor. So I'm going to show you some of the other things on this agility course, some that I will use and some that I won't use. So this here is the jump ring, and I do not do this with my older dogs. That's quite high to jump, and it's quite, they've got to be quite accurate with it. It could go very wrong. So I do not do this with my older dogs. Right, so this is the tunnel. This is brilliant for older dogs because it's completely on the ground. There's no jumping, there's no risk of slipping. Sometimes they can be a little bit slippery inside, but I've never found that to be a problem for older dogs, and so I'll happily let my dogs go backwards and forwards through the tunnel. Obviously you can't put this, well, you suppose you could, but it's a lot harder to create this at home with this kind of thing. But what you can do is, if you go to pet shops, you can buy like plastic fold up tunnels for cats. And that sort of thing would work great in the garden if your dog wasn't too big. So the tunnel is something that I do with the dogs, and it's really good for them. Right, the weave poles. Now, weave poles, if you've got a dog running an agility course, weave poles are fast. That's the whole point of it. They're supposed to do them really fast. And that's all right in younger dogs, but it can be a bit of a problem for dogs' backs. So with older dogs, I do let them do it, but I control the speed with a treat. So it's really slow. I like the fact that it's on the ground. There's no coming off the ground. And so that's really good. This one here is particularly good because it's got a good surface, so it's not easy for them to slip on it. This is fine, but if a dog like if you've got a dog that's longer, like a greyhound or Dalmatians, anything that's a bit longer, as they get older, I probably wouldn't do the weave poles. But again, nice and easy to create at home. You can just put broomsticks in your grass and make yourself some weave poles, and you just weave your dog in and out of them. So it is good, and it's quite difficult for the dog. So there's good, really good stimulation and a bit of exercise. But be careful if they've got like back problems. The whole movement of the weaving isn't great for that. But I do weave poles with all of my dogs at the moment. There's no problem there. Right, the seesaw. Seesaws are a bit dodgy because you can go to some agility places and get really, really bad seesaws, and then you can go to others where there are good seesaws. So this seesaw here is absolutely excellent because it's nice and wide and it's got a really rough surface on it, so it is no way they can slip. I do let my dogs do the seesaw. However, you've got to be really, really, really careful because it is off the ground, so they could slip, but it doesn't involve any jumping at all. So there's no jumping, they just walk slowly over the seesaw. This is absolutely great for a confidence builder, and it's really, really, really good stimulation because you see that as you see it tips, and so as they climb up it tips, and a lot of dogs are very nervous of that and don't like it, and so it's really, really, if they can master that, it's great for confidence, it's great for stimulation. But absolutely do not put an older dog or a puppy or dog with mobility issues, do not put them, oh, that's my Harry, do not put them on a narrow seesaw, and absolutely do not put them on one unless it has got a coating on it like this one that is non-slip, because they could fall and have a nasty, nasty accident. So don't do that. Also, if a dog isn't happy to do a seesaw, don't do it, because I can't see the point in making a dog do a seesaw that it isn't happy to do it. If you've got a younger dog and you're teaching them to run an agility course, and that's different. But with older dogs, unless they're happy to do a seesaw, don't get them to do it. Mine are happy to do it, but this is a particularly nice seesaw. Again, not something I'd recreate at home because there isn't a way to really recreate it. And if you are going to do it, make sure that it's wide and you've got a really, really good non-slip surface on it. Right, that's it then. Thanks very much for watching. You know where I am, all the socials. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.